I don't know if it's just something in the air at the moment, but Xbox just keeps deciding to drop some random sales out towards the end of every single week currently. I'm really not complaining, as it really does keep me on my toes, but my backlog is just growing so exponentially at this point. We have some cracking games here as well, including some massive AAA games at their best prices that we've ever seen before. I thought maybe they might hold back a bit for Black Friday, but no, Xbox have dropped some right now. Remember though, I do give away a free game every single week each Wednesday on these sales videos. Just drop your comment down below and check back in this current week. With that, let's just dive right into the games on sale for this week. First up, and at £9, Hogwarts Legacy is one of the biggest deals on this list today, and it is down a massive 85%. This one is set in the 1800s wizarding world, and it really gives you the freedom to live your own magical journey. From learning spells and taming magical beasts, to exploring the sprawling castle and of course its surrounding lands, it's every fan's dream come true. This sheer attention to detail though is just so utterly staggering as well, as every corridor and secret passage makes Hogwarts feel truly alive. For me, this was an utter dream come true, especially as a big Potterhead myself, and it's still kind of taking me back with how much content they managed to capture within this RPG. I would highly recommend it, especially at this price point, as it's the best that I've personally ever seen, and you will truly love every hour within this game. For me, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 easily sits as my game of the year alongside Clair Obscur, and when I saw that it was first on discount this week by a hefty amount, I just had to recommend it in this video. More specifically, the Royal Edition is now down by a whopping 40%, which is a rather large discount considering the game actually only came out during this year. If you're unfamiliar with this franchise, you basically play as a blacksmith named Henry, and you're navigating the medieval world of Bohemia with just facing a lot of turmoil. There is everything here from sword fighting, exploring the lush rolling hills and cityscapes, and even taking part in a good old game of dice if you so choose to. It's one RPG that has a ton of content, and I've probably clocked in about 150 hours myself, and that's without getting all of the gamer score. It's totally worth every single penny, and you even get all the DLC included within this edition. Not every superhero game really nails its launch, but Gotham Knights has really grown into a better experience than many expected over time. In this one, you step into the boots of Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, or even Red Hood, and you're patrolling Gotham in Batman's absence. Each hero in this instance has their own distinct abilities, which makes combat and co-op feel rather varied in the new world of Gotham City. The city itself is sprawling, with crimes to stop and secrets to uncover, even if the storytelling isn't as tight as the Arkham series of old. What redeems it though is just a sheer amount of content along with gear progression and just the ability to tackle it with friends, which is actually quite nice to see for this franchise. At launch, it was a pretty tough sell for the price point, but right now it's only £6.50 thanks to a whopping 90% discount, and to me it's quite easy to recommend it when it's that low. When Fear 2 first dropped many moons ago, it really was the perfect mix of first-person shooter and psychological horror, and somehow it really does still hold up today even for a 360 game. You basically play as Michael Beckett, and you're caught in a storm of supernatural chaos after Alma's reality-bending wrath reshapes the entire world. The gunplay is very crisp and weighty, the slow motion combat still feels amazing to this day, and the atmosphere, well, it's just pure dread. Always whisper, lights flicker, and then bam, Alma's there. It's equal parts action and anxiety, and a real love letter to when shooters dare to be that scary. At £4, this is a nostalgia trip that still knows how to make your pulse spike. Fear 2 might be old, but it's still incredibly scary, and it's what horror games should really aspire to in 2025. I was a bit surprised upon playing Flipping Death, as it really is a delightfully weird game in every single sense. You basically play as Penny, a recently deceased soul who accidentally takes over Death's job for the day. The catch is that you can flip between the worlds of the living and the dead at will, and then you'll be solving puzzles by swapping sides. It's very quirky, colourful, and just full of smart humour, and it really feels like a Tim Burton cartoon that's come to life, and I think that's why I fell so in love with this one. Alongside that, the voice acting is pretty sharp as well, the writing is genuinely funny, and every level bursts with so much imagination. For under £2, it's a crime not to try it, as few games really mix dark comedy and heart this bloody well. Flipping Death makes the afterlife look like a chaotic day at the office, and is one indie you need to try as soon as possible. A house made of paper shouldn't be terrifying, yet Paper Cut Mansion somehow makes cardboard very creepy. Its handcrafted aesthetic hides a surprisingly tense roguelike that's full of puzzles, eerie encounters, and dimensional shifts. You'll be essentially exploring this one layer by layer, uncovering different clues and piecing together the story of the mansion's cursed creator. Every run, as you expect then, changes to different layouts and really keeps you guessing at every moment, while the papercraft visuals and eerie stop motion feel like it's a handmade horror vibe. It's not a scream fest like other games already mentioned in this list. Instead, it's a more slow burn mystery that's drenched in so much style. This one is also really cheap at just £1.69, and for me that's a total bargain for indie horror fans. An indie game that I absolutely love is up next, and it's so bloody good and gets overlooked all the time, and that's just simply due to the art style. Well, to give you a bit of background in this one, it is set during the harrowing backdrop of World War I, and Conscript throws you into the retro-inspired survival horror experience where every single bullet, item, and every decision really does count. In that case, you'll be exploring some grim trenches, of course, alongside war-torn villages, basically in search of your missing brother, and that's all while solving puzzles and battling, of course, some nightmarish enemies. Its fixed camera perspective and resource management really call back to the golden era of classic Resident Evil games, but that World War I setting gives it a completely unique flavour. Right now, at 50% off and available for about £12.50, is the perfect time to experience this gritty, tense indie horror game. GRIME is one game that I actually managed to play when it actually came to Google Stadia a few years back now, and it wasn't exclusive at the time of its release, and it was one that was incredibly strange, beautiful, and incredibly brutal. It definitely won't strike you as one right out the gate though, but it is a Souls-like, and it's actually more sculpted though from Obsidian Nightmares. You play as a living black hole. This means you'll be absorbing enemies to grow stronger in a surreal world that's made of bone and stone. The combat is very fast though, and it does require a lot of skill and timing to really succeed here. Each enemy also feels like a puzzle, and every boss a twisted piece of art, as they really are so gruesome and bloody fantastic. It reminds me heavily of some great Metroidvanias as well, like Hollow Knight and even Castlevania, so hopefully that gives you a bit more of an idea about the gameplay loop as well. For just under 15 quid after 30% off is not the biggest discount this week, but it's actually never gone below that price point since its launch, so it's definitely worth picking up. As I mentioned earlier on in this video, I'm actually a real big Potterhead, so if you're another Potter fan who enjoys LEGO's light-hearted humour, this bundle that I'm going to highlight now is a real treat for you. The LEGO Harry Potter collection combines year 1 to 4 and 5 to 7 into one complete package, letting you relive the entire saga but in LEGO form. The charm of the LEGO games really lies though in their blend of simple puzzles, goofy slapstick, and surprisingly faithful retelling of the entire story. I do have to say that exploring Hogwarts in LEGO form is just oddly satisfying, and it's a perfect couch co-op experience, especially for this holiday season coming towards us. At £3.39, it's an easy recommendation, whether you're just new to the series or want to just have some fun, family-friendly way to revisit Harry's journey. Next up, we have Greek Memories of Azur, now at an all-time low price of £3.20. This is a beautiful action-adventure game with a very unique hand-drawn art style, and it really does stand out amongst the crowd. In this one, you basically play as 3 siblings named Greek, Adara, and Rydell, who each have their own special abilities, and you'll then use them to solve different puzzles and navigate the gorgeous, fantastical world. The story is very emotional here and immersive, and it focuses on the bond between the siblings as they basically struggle to escape from the invading Urlag army. It's one of those indie games that you might not have heard of before, but is definitely worth picking up if you're looking for a game with a lot of heart, challenging gameplay, and just stunning visuals. If you miss the frantic energy of Left 4 Dead, then Back 4 Blood is the spiritual successor you've entirely been waiting for. This one's now at 90% off and only £6, and this is a massive deal for an endlessly replayable co-op shooter. This one is actually developed by the original creators, and is a co-op shooter that pits you and your squad against waves of grotesque mutated enemies called the Ridden. I think what made this game very divisive within the community though due to its launch was actually due to its card-based perk system, and it actually lets you modify gameplay and build out your own unique strategies for every single mission. It kind of made way for a few elements of microtransaction hell though, but if you do ignore it, it's a pretty decent game underneath all of that. We did get frequent content updates, which is still live within the game so far, so for a very low price point is certainly worth diving into. Moonglow Bay is one of those games that feels like you're wrapping yourself in a warm blanket. It's set in a sleepy fishing town but struggling to stay afloat as you play as a newcomer trying to revive the communities with kindness, cooking, and exploration. The voxel art here is just totally gorgeous. The music is incredibly soft and comforting as well, and every task from catching the strange fish to just chatting with locals feels incredibly peaceful. There's a really sort of quiet emotional core too, touching on grief and healing without ever feeling very heavy-handed. Co-op for this experience makes it so much better though, and it turns it into a sort of shared cozy little adventure. For just under £3.50 is an absolute bargain, especially if you want a cozy game with a lot of heart for this holiday season. Sometimes you don't need combat in a game, you just need these very very calming waters. If you love factory builders but want something a bit more atmospheric, or if you just can't afford Satisfactory, which just released, then Techtonica dials that vibe up to 11. In this one, you awaken deep underground on an alien planet, surrounded by bioluminescent caverns and strange flora. Instead of open fields, you'll be carving out space, automating drills, refining materials, and then uncovering the planet's secrets one glowing tunnel at a time. It's equal parts relaxation and engineering, with a very mysterious story simmering underneath the entire machines. The aesthetics of this one are pretty fantastic for an indie game. There's a lot of neon colors, humming machinery, and so much more, and it's just a world that feels so alive in its own quiet way. Currently it's listed for I believe just under £9, which is a great pickup, especially if you're a fan of stuff like Satisfactory or even Factorio but you want a different flavor. Techtonica is also available on Xbox Game Pass if you do have your subscription, but if you do want to own it or if you just want to play it without the subscription, then this is definitely a worthy pickup for this week. Are there any games in the sale you're looking to pick up this week? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Remember as well to subscribe down below and check back in this Wednesday to see if you're a winner for this week's giveaway. Whilst here though, and if you want to check out some more awesome Xbox content, why don't you check out the video on screen now. I actually covered all of the games coming out for Xbox and Game Pass for this current week to see if any of them are worth your time and or money.